thickener, and you got the actual epoxy itself. So the way we do this is we have to mix it. So we start with the thicker portion first. It's better to wear gloves doing this too. I don't have that right. But you have to mix them equal parts. Completely equal. There's no residue or nothing like that left inside here. So start with the thick part. This is the blue part. And I know you see color in it right now, but when you actually get it, it actually, when you start mixing it,
it'll clear.
Yeah, it'll actually become like crystal clear. So what we're doing is we're just mixing this whole thing to that lip. We want to be close to perfect as possible. And just take that. So we have to seal. One of them is going to be the top coat, which is that, and the other is actually going to be the thin coat. So there's two ways we're going to do this. One of them, we're just going to basically rub it in. That's why I got that spade there. Or the putty knife, I think we're called. And we're going to basically make the thinnest coat that we possibly can, because epoxy, it's its own sealer. Most people think that they have to seal a product before they put epoxy on it. That's not necessarily true. Alright. So this is the part that sucks. So as you're mixing it, you gotta mix from the bottom. You're basically trying to scoop it and fold it into each other and actually get it to where it's completely mixed. And the bubbles in there can be taken care of. And the way to do that is actually with heat.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
So you're mixing that with it. So that stuff's got some stink to it.
It does. It's
really
raunchy.
It's strong. But one of the most important things is you got to make sure these things are completely level, because it's just gonna look uneven and crappy if you don't do it. So it's supposed to come together really nice. So you know why I have all these little coasters and things underneath these? It's just like little dollar store furniture stands. Yeah. And these things are actually extremely important when you have these. So make sure that it's completely level, and it's not, so then you just pops just stick on the side. That's the only bad thing about mobile homes.
Do you have a leveler you set it on?
I do. I don't remember. I actually found this thing when I moved here.
I'll say torpedo is perfect for that, see.
Oh, so we'll try it out. So basically all we're doing right now is we're just putting on a very, very thin layer. And that right there is actually going to top coat that. So it actually looks good. It already has this, the thin coat on it, but it's like you can see the bubbles. And that's what we're actually avoiding doing this. In the wood grain, all those air pockets and stuff like that, it actually comes upward. There was nothing that destroyed this because of chemicals. It was actually because of the air pockets that was in there. So that's just because of the type of wood it is. But since we sanded this down, it's such a fine grit, we might not have that issue with it.
I hope not. I really can't wait to see this one epoxy. I really can. I'm really excited to see it.
After this, I take a shower. Alright, so we're going to take this, and we're not going to put a lot. We're going to top coat the last one. We only need a little bit of this. So now you're looking in there, you see those air pockets and stuff like that. Basically, if you give it like a 5-minute resting time, so epoxy takes a while before it starts thickening, maybe about an hour, and it starts to actually get really hard. But at this part, you can let it sit out for a little bit, and basically all the bubbles just come straight to the top, and you torch out the top layer. But with tabletop epoxy, you're only supposed to pour 1/8 of an inch, which is as thick as it is right now. So like with other epoxies, it's a lot thicker. So you can actually pour it a lot more, and it just comes out so beautifully. So We just don't want that touching the epoxy. And all we're going to do is take a little bit. That's enough. So it's just going to be the top coat. So we'll go back and get more if we have to. Can I check on the torch, please? And I'll do this one, you can do the next one. So all I'm doing is taking that.
You're covering the whole surface a little bit.
Yeah. It's better to rub this in with your hand, but I don't have the gloves for that right now. And basically this is just going to seal it. See that?
That is so cool.
It actually makes the wood a little bit darker, but it will come out good in the end. We might need a little bit more. Yeah,
Do
see?
you like to draw paint?
She's the artist of the family.
That's cool. Just a little bit.
Yeah, we're trying to make it as thin as possible because it dries pretty fast. So it's always the first one that dries extremely fast. It doesn't exactly have to be perfect. We're just trying to make it so it seals itself and we don't have to worry about anything going in the top. And while that's drying, we're going to work on that one over there. And we actually pour onto that one.
Does it depend on the piece when you pour it and then smooth itself out, or you always smooth it out? You do the first layer, always smooth it out.
Yeah, the first layer you actually have to smooth it out like we're doing. We're rubbing this in. And as you can see, this one's already about dried. So it's basically sealed just like that.
Right.
So you can touch your fingers and you don't even feel epoxy on it anymore because it dried that
It's
fast.
drying into the.
So we just go over it with a little torch and just.
I imagine that first layer will this
Yeah,
Trying to get it all on there.
soaks in all that good stuff.
Going like I want it.
That's why it's good to get all those dents out because then you'll have an uneven project and it looks very tacky after that. All right, we can rub that rest of that in.
I'm struggling.
So
Oh, this is the best. This is like the like finest art I've ever done. I'm sorry, I'm just. I feel like a fat kid at a Chinese restaurant. Buffet.
all right, so now that that's getting ready to seal, we'll just go over it lightly. You know how to use this.
No, I won't. All right, I could use it.
I'll
I just
walk you
wanted-
in it.
I didn't watch you do that one.
The whole purpose of this is to teach you.
Mhm.
So there's a clicking button right here. This is just a standard benzomatic. So you're gonna pull this down, it locks by itself. You're gonna push that trigger in. You're gonna hold it.
Oh, it's like the one we got at the house.
So go ahead and push the trigger in, hold it down, and hold this button in. Now let go of the trigger. There you go. Now you just go over it lightly like that, in like a swaying motion, but do not let it sit too long because, you know, it's resin, it's a chemical. It's gonna make you sick. I get so many headaches because I go too fast. A little bit closer. Blade. I mean, it actually can touch the wood itself. Don't be scared of it.
Okay. Ta-da.
I actually go over the wood, like let the blue flame actually touch the wood. There you go. Yeah, and
Let
this
it
just
lick
smooths
the
it out.
wood. Lick. So it's getting those bubbles out.
Yeah, just don't get too close and stay in one spot for too long, because it'll start to smoke and then it's just gonna have a mess there. It's stuck in this house. All right, perfect. That one's ready.
I like this. I want to get one just like that.
It's expensive.
I gotta get a.
So these right here I got from Hobby Lobby,
Mhm.
and it was $80. So it's expensive. That particular brand is expensive.
Mhm.
But again, you can get it cheaper with tabletop or wood epoxy. That's for bigger projects. We don't need this right now. I'm just showing
I
you
was
this
gonna
is.
say, oh.
Yeah, this is what we use
Uh-huh.
for like what I did for the countertops.
Bigger projects.
So basically,
Because
that's
he
how I
epoxy
did the
those. You
countertops.
remember how crappy those look? And look how much better it looks now.
So in case everybody's wondering, all that is faux epoxy and paint. None of that is real granite. It's just epoxy and paint. So you can actually do the pouring process, and
And a little bit on the teeth.
it actually did pop.
Pop.
I mean, it looks great.
He looks real, like, I'd be like, hey, you.
Yeah, he does. I want to know that, like, who that really is. I don't know the customer he got it from. But they were pretty happy about that.
Really?
So we're going to go ahead and go on to the next part. So you're going to grab the epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to keep the stick inside of it. So basically, you're going to pour a little bit on the edges first. You're going to go all the way around. And then you're going to work your way in the middle. And then it should be like a thick portion on it.
With this,
Go ahead.
I pour it?
Yeah, go ahead and pour it. Oh, good job.
Why is it so hard?
And then go around to the center?
Yep. And move over to the center. And you're basically doing like a zigzag motion so we can, because it's self-leveling. So that's good enough. I'm gonna say the rest of it. Might be a little much, but
Oops, I figured it was.
which is, well, we got a whole gallon over here. We can mix more. So never a bad thing. So now you take your
Squeegee.
Yep. Spade. It's better to have like a rubber squeegee, but I don't really have that right now, so I'm basically just evening it out. Try to keep it on, and then we'll take what excess that does drip off, and we'll actually use that to paint the outside of the bark, so the bark actually stays forever too.
Yes.
Get back on.
What?
As you can see, the different types of wood, when you lay epoxy on it, it just looks completely different. So you see how much darker that one is? That is the same exact epoxy that we just used for these.
Really?
It's just these are basswood and that's
I
a
feel like
hardwood.
I'm making a mess.
I think that's actually oak that we're doing. So,
Try it again.
get in there, make sure no big dips.
It won't let me change it from the active thing. Because change the active.
But what about, there's like holes
Oh,
here.
that's what we're about to show you right now. So we're good. That's all you need for right now. So this is self-leveling, and basically that just means is if there's a little spot that needs to be filled,
That and that.
it's going to fill it out. The whole thing's going to level out. So grab that little torch. And we're actually going to get that to the high speed, from the highest level that can go, so we're going to push this forward. Alright, so we're going to go and we're just going to glaze it. And
Like I did with this one?
I'll show you. So as you're doing that, you can actually see what it looks like. So when you're down there, you see, well, it actually looks like pure glass, but to us you can see small little bubbles, but
Yeah.
I guess in other videos you couldn't see that. Oh, there's one. See that dip. So basically you're going to take that torch, you're going to go ahead and glaze it, and you're going to go in one sweeping motion all the way to the top.
And back down.
Yep. See how the bubbles just popping upwards?
This, can you doing this for how long?
That should be a little bit more. We'll touch up this side right here. So basically just keep going, but just focus on that half of the wood. So try to put that little doohickey right there, and it's actually leveling itself out. So you see what I'm talking about right there? That little part right there, and you put this one right here. Then you move on, you see that little dip.
Yep.
So,
What do I do about the dip?
well, that's what I would do, is I would actually just grab that popsicle stick and just
Turn this off?
Yeah, just drizzle a little bit of this on top of it. So just take this, any extra you got, just dab it. Little drop.
Maybe because the account that this is made on, the Gmail.
This is why it's very important that we have a level surface to work with. So this is
And I missed the edges right there.
Never looked like this.
that's what we do this.
Maybe it's because the Gmail that I used was 2009. That was a kid. Well, that's my Gmail, dude.
These kids. Good go.
They're annoying. We need help.
So, come on, very good. Do one more quick laps. Well, to do this, you actually have to look down at the level and try to see if you can reflect the light. You see how you see those bubbles and it's somewhat uneven? But watch.
I see all that.
Yeah. Watch how it looks after I do this, you know? You'll see the bubbles like this.
So the heat draws the bubbles out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's like bubble popper.
Yeah, it just like smooths it out and then it comes out so beautifully.
That's even better than the games on your phone.
There you go. If that doesn't cure anxiety, I don't know what does. So, now we're gonna move on to the next thing. So we're the exact same. If we have to mix more, we'll mix more. So remember, we got 2 projects to pour on. So try to get what you can on there, and then the rest
Ages
we'll
from
mix some more if we have to.
3 younger. Don't do that because then you probably would have to get there. I'm not sure.
Alright. So the reason why we know it's okay to start laying down epoxy is when you touch it, it's tacky.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's at the tacky point, that's when you know you can go ahead and lay down because it's sealed itself.
What? Just
Or else if you want, you can pour the rest on that one.
Yeah, Bryce, if you want that to pour on that one, you want my glove? No. You can.
Perimeter of it and then kind of do it.
Yep. And just kind of fill it up. And any extra, we'll use that to fill in the dips like we did with that first one. So normally I wait till I have a couple projects because I always end up over mixing.
Instead of, I like that. That's pretty smart.
Right.
I just wait
Gotta
till,
have a little extra.
yeah,
So we'll put enough.
Oh, yeah.
that should be.
phone isn't charging because this is because the couch isn't plugged in.
I'm just trying to get it.
Alright, cards work too, just as fine. So we've got a few in here if we use. There we go. This will be perfect. These will be so much easier to use. So we can actually just, because it's flimsy.
I'll get a picture of that.
See how that is? See, we're going to need to put another little dip right there. The rest of it, look at that, it's like glass.
It is. That's so flippin' awesome.
That came out beautifully. Good job. You didn't even torch that one yet. We will still have to torch that, just like a process that we have to do. I'm going to pour a little bit more epoxy on this one. And we'll torch them, and then they should be done. So, time to torch it.
And you can see them coming up. Look how smooth that the black painting the black on that.
Oh yeah, that came out, it actually popped so
Smoothed
beautifully.
it, smoothed it like glass, like black glass.
So, do you remember the steps I gave you?
Yes, you're gonna mix. You're gonna start with the blue first and pour it to the rim. Then, actually on this one, you'll pour it in there, and then you're gonna pour that in there, and then you're going to the rim. You're gonna put it in there, and you're gonna slowly mix it for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, you can take it and start and do your small layer, that thin layer, and then you torch it, and then you go around the edges and work to the inside, and then you smooth it out, and then you torch it again to get the bubbles out.
Perfect.
And how long will it take for that to actually dry?
So, epoxy takes 24 hours to cure.
24 hours here. Okay.
24 hours. So, it's going to sit like that. And I have to come back and check on it periodically because we're in Georgia, fruit flies get places, and that smells delicious to them. And they are an absolute pest when they get on your pot.